Games. So each summer since last year, we have an opportunity to see the competition of the robots. So today we have our old friend with us, Deputy Secretary of China Institute of Electronics, or CIE, Mr. Lam, with us. And actually, last year we saw the robots competing in the track fields, and they look quite funny. But after only a year, we see major improvement in terms of the posture and speed that they run. And also, we have made a lot of updates and improvement in terms of the robotic technologies, in terms of their technology, in terms of their level of intelligence, as well as their parts. And this year we have more new events being introduced to the games, such as boxing, and there we could see more this real-based scenario of applications, and allowing us to see more possibilities of the robots. And we can take this opportunity to also see the real-world application of the robots. So besides seeing these robots competing in track and fields, we could also see them being applied in a lot more scenarios, such as disaster relief or the working on water and working underground. So the ultimate goal for using robots in real life is to let them help us in difficult and harsh environments, such as in water, on air, and in traffic, and so on. So the final destination of application for the robots is in the real life. Real life. So, what are the major improvements in terms of the cost-effective side of the robot technologies? Well, in any industry, I think quantitative production, mass production, is the way to reduce the cost, while introducing new technologies into it, so as to realize this the iteration of the robots. So now let's go live to see what is going on at the
各位下午好，欢迎收看正在为您转播的第二届世界人形机器人运动会。在8月26号日场的比赛当中呢，在今天下午，首先咱们要关注的是武术自选拳术，包括在今天下午还有自由搏击的比赛以及足球3对3的比赛。 我们在演播室内呢，还是请到了中国电子学会副秘书长梁亮老师作为今天的解说评述嘉宾。梁老师您好。
大家好。
这是足球5对5中型组半决赛。
我们看到今年的足球赛，这个足球运动员都比去年解锁了一项技能，就是射门。但射门今年分为3个，现在是叫脚弓推射。另外后面还有一个大力射。今年的比赛中，很多的球员是在后场就一脚就球进。
那说明射门的力量比之前要提升了不少。
是的。
In the first half, we can see that Be Human is leading 3-0. This year we see upgrade in terms of hardware and also the 3D vision. We now see that the robots will have are now having a better technique in terms of taking the shot.
现在您再说话试试。
And we can see that the vision of the robots is around 120 degrees. We can see that the heads of the players are rotating from side to side. This is because they are trying to use their visual sensors to collect more information to decide for their next move. I think in the future we will achieve better results in terms of visual recognition. The 5v5 game this year compared with last year saw major improvement in tactics as well. We could see that more and more teams are now having very clear layout of the players on the court. For example, they have very division of labor, like we have goalkeeper, and we also have forward and middle field, as well as the defenders. We could see that the robots are rotating their heads from one side to another. As you mentioned, there's a 120-degree range, but still they have some blind spot, like their back. They cannot right now defend what's going on at their back. We can see that the player from the red team, the Be Human team, just take a wonderful shot. So the robot can make very quick decision once he recognize or he judge, he believe that it is right time and right angle to take the shot. This also can be attributable to the upgrade in algorithms. We now could see that the robotic players can move very quickly near the ball, and when they see time is right, they will take the shot quickly. That is a very long shot and made precisely to the goal. We could see that the players can even pause for a minute to adjust the posture before taking the shot, which will make the whole process more targeted and more precise. we now see that the blue team is basically taking a defensive approach because the red team are attacking fiercely, but their position, their layout seem to be a bit concentrated, so that they do not have a wider range of defense. The red team on the other side clearly has an advantage in terms of algorithm. The blue team, on the other hand, is like an all-attack, all-defense layout. Whenever they see the ball, they will just rush onto it without considering the whole picture. The red team, however, they will have better tactics, they will have better layouts, they have a clear division of labor in terms of defense and attack. So this actually gives us inspiration in terms of the division of labor when many robots are working together, and this sort of group control and group work could be done better, and the engineers could see room of improvement at this front as well. The advantage in algorithm can help the robots to make clearer judgment, and also you could see that their motions are also better organized or better managed than those from the blue team. In the future, we look forward to more human-like gestures or body language or motions, especially with the goalkeeper. Right now, we have a player that will act as a goalkeeper, but we could see that his body language body position is not that natural. It's not so much like a real goalkeeper. As I mentioned, this year we saw major improvement in terms of the players taking the shot. And also, of course, it is the only way to get the point, to secure the point, to secure victory as well. So in the past year, we see that the developers are doing a lot in terms of the improvement of the shooting technologies. This year, in the football event, we see three major improvements. The first is the shot, and second is the anti-clashing system. Or this obstacle avoidance system. And the third is this technology in terms of more precision in defense. Which allow for more tactics. For the defenders, you have to be more, you have to be stronger, and you have to be more resistance. We see that Be Human from Germany is still leading the game 9-0. If we look at the layout of the Be Human team, it has only 2 forward and two middle field. So you could see that the two forward are basically taking all the shots. That is another very precise and beautiful shot by Be Human. There are also algorithms that could help the robots to trace the football better. And we could see that Be Human is again leading the race by a large margin. So besides the competition, we also see this grabbing contest or this scenario-based competition, and this would be the boxing ring. We could see that two teams, two players are competing with each other. This is a bronze medal contest. For boxing, there are some effective positions which you could hit, and the scoring area, including the head, torso, and thighs. We could see that the robots are making some very agile movement, including the sweep, kick, and also some combo leg techniques. And also for a player to win, it has to have a better management of the balance. We actually saw major improvement in terms of the agility and stability of the robots. Well, because the robots are controlled remotely by the engineers, it actually is a test for the person behind as well. So is there another category? And in the past, we also have a group in which the robots are running on their own, are running automatically. But this year, we see more people are resorting to this remote control mode. But it's not to say that the engineers are the only person that is responsible for the victory. The robot itself is also very important. The controllers can only press several buttons to instruct the robots to take the shot or take the kick or swing, but it is up to the robots to make the move. And also, it has to stand still and not fall in order to win. Well, boxing is a very challenging sport for the robots because it is not only test for the agility, for the technology, and the ability to maintain balance, and also there are more very intricate wires and parts on the robots, and when they move, the parts and the parts might get hurt. They might be heated up. So as the competition goes on, it gets more and more challenging for the robots as well. I think this kind of agility, very agile robots can be applied to many real life scenarios, such as the rescue in the wilderness and the disaster relief. And also, it could be applied to the discovery of wildlife as well. You could send robots to the wilderness to observe the situation of the wild animals, such as, and some of the especially those endangered species, such as tigers and wolves. And some of the robots can also transform their configuration, and they could walk with their feet, and then their limbs can also be changed into wheels. So when there's a flat ground, they could just drive through. This is also something that cannot be achieved by humans, and they could be of great help for us in terms of scientific research and discovery. We could see that the robots are quite agile with their motions. As I mentioned, this is the bronze. This is the bronze medal, a bronze medal match. So these are actually the two of the top 4 players of the event. They are quite proficient with their technique. We saw that one of the players got stuck at the ring, at the rope. And according to the rule, when the robot got stuck, the staff cannot directly help the robot. So we see that they are mainly trying to adjust the ropes so that the robots can get out on their own. We see that these 2 robots have a superb control of their own body. They could stand very firmly. We rarely see them falling on the ground. We see that the robots, when they are trying to make the attack, they are actually making these little leaps from side to side. The side leap, which is another new technology that we observed this year. We can see that the robots now have a better skill in terms of self-defense, and they are also adjusting their postures, adjusting their body to maintain balance and prevent themselves from falling. We see that in kickboxing, the robots are mainly relying on their feet, on their legs to make the attack. I think the kicks also is more demanding in terms of the ability to maintain balance. Right now we are back at the football court. Now Be Human is leading 14-0 and continuing to expand its advantage. And I guess the only suspense now is whether the blue team, Hype, could make a goal. Unlike kickboxing, the robots, the football match on a football court, all of the players are completely on their own. There were no human intervention apart from the situation of injuries. So all the players on the field are relying on their sensors, relying on their CPUs to make the judgment to exercise the techniques, also the tactics, fulfilling the tactics of the coaches. We see that in a lot of competition, the robots have to rely on their high explosive power. The robots basically could move forward 4 meters per second, and the smaller ones could move 3 meters per second. And another major challenge for the robots in playing football is, of course, their stamina and their ability to withstand injuries or shakes. We also see a promising future in terms of application for the robots in the exploration of the wilderness. Besides, it's a coordinates of many technologies and techniques in robotic world, and they could be applied in different real-life scenarios as well. I think now Be Human is continuing to score and expand its advantage over the other team, which means that their technologies is, much better and much more advanced than its competition. In this year's football event, we see that the robotic players are now much more accurate and precise when they take the shot. They have a clear vision of the shot of the angle. So I saw many football matches, and I think the precision of the shot and the successful rate is much higher than that of before. So can you tell us why I can only see two blue players on a match on a court? Well, we actually introduce the rules of penalties into the football match of this year. So the reason why there are only two blue players left is probably because they have offended the rules, or some of the players got injured, so that they have to be removed from the match. Of course, each team will have their substitute. If someone got injured, they could send out the substitute on the match to continue with the game. We see that when the blue players take the shot, it is very hard for the blue players to defend. And right now, Be Human, the red team is leading 20-0. Well, that's another wonderful shot, taking at a very small angle. And we see that the red team also have a better control. Today, there's also a new rule that a goal has to be made after at least two passes. You cannot just take the ball and then just and take the shot. And we see that this is a corner kick. Right now, we see that the player passed the ball to the player making the corner kick passed the ball to player number 3, which is standing at a perfect position to take the shot. And then when he take the ball, he will make the shot at that instant. If your team is losing 0-22, I'm sure the engineers are, very anxious and worried, but there's very limited that they can do because, as I mentioned, all of those robotic players are on their own in a football match, unlike a kickboxing event. For each team, they will have a time to call pause once in a game, but I think there is a very limited thing that they could do during the pause, because there simply is not enough time for them to adjust the algorithm. The only thing that I could do is to do some checkups of the conditions of the robots to make sure that they could still stay on the field. I think back in the lab, all of the engineers are working day and nights relentlessly to improve the techniques. That's why we see this kind of leapfrog improvement over just a year. This will help us to diversify the application scenarios for the robots. I believe that this will also create more job opportunities for the college graduates if they major in related fields. And the embodied intelligence major has been a hit in the past years. A lot of very outstanding candidates will choose this major as their specialty, and it's not just a single out major. You have to have this cross-disciplinary ability. You need to learn about dynamics, about machinery, about AI, as well as computer science in order to become an expert in this field. Right now, we move to the wushu or martial art competition. We see that, interestingly, the athlete is wearing traditional Chinese martial art or kung fu clothes to attend the competition. We see that this robot is very stable in making the moves. We see that the moves are so powerful and precise that they are a lot like a real martial art master. Because we now have abundant information in terms of the moves of the martial art players. We have abundant data collections working together with the humanoid technologies, so that we were training the robots with a lot of very clean and high quality database. As you mentioned, this robotic technology is not a single out major. It's based on a lot of fundamental disciplines such as math, computer science, AI, as well as material science. And there are more opportunities to come for people who specialize in these fields. We see that the athletes on the field are making very beautiful moves of Chinese Kung Fu. It has very good control of the body gesture and the moves. So for martial art and Kempo, you could see that right now the robots have very good control of their body's gesture, and their moves are a lot like a real human martial art master. And of course, the simple rules are now, the more that they are like humans, the higher the score they will get. I think look at the physique of this robot. This robot will make a perfect goalkeeper in the field, doesn't it? However, there is a big difference. For the martial art performer, all of their moves are pre-programmed. But for the football player, all of their moves are made instantly. It's an instant response. So the technology concerning this field is quite different. All right, we are now moving to the standing long jump. And track and field, we see that the figure of robots are not so much like real humans, unlike martial art or kung fu. Their goal is to, aim for better results and performance. So we see robots with much longer legs and limbs than humans. This is the final for the standing long jump. We see that this robot has performed very stably. Yesterday, this robot actually made the game, created the game record of the high jump, which the performance is 3.29 meters. So the rules for this long jump is similar with that of human competition. This robot looks different from the Tianxiao robot. I think for the long jump event, we see that the robots are not jumping as far as we expected. In high jump, they could jump 2 to 3 meters high, but in a long jump, they can jump only a few centimeters longer than that of humans, because the resistance is bigger for the robots. And also, it's a test for the stableness. At the moment it touches the ground, it has to remain stable. Otherwise, the score will be cancelled. Some of the humanoid robots would fall when it touches the ground after they finish the jump. For each robot, it has 3 opportunities, and only the best performance, the best performance record will be counted. So 3 trials, and a highest score will be marked. So the rules are quite similar with that of the long jump for humans. If you fall, for example, you fall on your hand, the distance is matched. It's measured from the starting line to your body, any of the body position. Well, we see that this robot fell after it finishes the jump. So the moment for the robots to touch the ground is very challenging because it has to remain still, remain stable, remain standing. That is not easy. All right, we are back at the martial art performance. This is the Wushu optional boxing final. Not only could the robots complete the choreograph, but also we could see that the robots are remaining very stable and safe. And I love the connections between different motions. So even if it's a bit unstable when it touched the ground with its feet after a jump, it can make very instant adjustment to help itself to remain stable. We see that the robots are not only trying to complete this set of moves, but also we could see that there is some sort of aesthetic beauty to this set of moves. They are not only trying to finish the move, but finish them beautifully. So for each move, this kind of slow moves are also challenging because it requires the junctures to slow down and speed up very quickly. So we can see that the robots are making the moves and adjusting the tempos. They are not doing everything on the same frequency. It will adjust the speed that they move, especially at their hand. This robot is smaller in size compared to the previous robot that we saw. I could see that this robot is very steady in terms of all of its moves. For Wushu or martial art, the joint of their elbows are more similar to that of humans compared to the players of other events, such as free kick, such as kickboxing. The martial art performers will have more flexible elbows and wrists. We now see the combined pentathlon final. This is a scenario-based challenge. We see that the engineers are wearing the VR goggles to work with the robot, so they now have like a first-person vision of the robots. the engineers would require the first-person vision or first-person perspective or the FPP to help the robots with the control. Unlike the boxing players. For the robots competing in the pentathlon event, they will require a higher position, especially with their grabs, with the angle that they tilt their hand. So we now see the engineers trying to spray something on their angles. So what are they spraying? Well, it is because of the heat generated with all of these moves. These moves seem to be quite slow and small, but they are very energy and power consuming, which would require the spraying of cooling of this cooler spray. It's a lot like for the football players, if they got injured, like minorly injured on the field, the medics will help them to spray some medicines on their muscle to ease the pain. But for the robots, it aims to cool them down. We see that the AI-powered robots are making major improvement in the past year. For each robot, they will have 20 to 30 joints, which will allow them to make very intricate moves. So the mission for the robot is to grab the cup, lift it, pour the water, and put it down. So for a lot of robots, they can actually complete the task on their own. They could do it autonomously, but the contestants, in order to achieve better results, they would resort to this remote control strategy. So for sports, we aim to achieve, faster, higher, stronger, as the Olympic model indicates. But for robots, this kind of slow movement is also quite challenging. We saw the robot just slowly grab the bottle, the cup, lift it, and pour the water, which is actually quite energy consuming for the robots. This event is called the combined pentathlon, as the name suggests. It not only is the robot required to finish one task, it has altogether 5 tasks to finish. And actually, this sort of robot is open for future upgrade. You could you could upgrade it with the installation of different parts so that it can help you to finish different tasks as well. Right now, the teams are resorting to remote control because it is faster, more precise than automatic operation. However, in the future, we might see robots that could complete a task on their own faster than with remote control. Right now, we are seeing the pitch pot event. This event actually originates from the Asian Chinese traditional ritual games. Of course, it requires precision from the robots, because right now the robots is asked to throw the arrows into a pot at the distance. I think it seems to be easy, but it is very challenging for the robot as well. Because the pot mouth is much smaller than that of, say, basketball. So it's very challenging for the robots to pitch the arrow into the pot. We could see that the robots are trying to complete all the moves on their own, from grabbing the arrow to turn around to aim and the final pitch. This is its second attempt. So it is important for the robots to find the target. That is a successful attempt. We see that if the robots can make it on its own, which means it means that it has a high precision in terms of the technology, with the improvement of algorithm and control of mechanics, it's possible that the robot can have 100% accuracy in the future. But in the real life scenario, there might be other factors that work as interference or intervention to the robots. We see that the arms and hands of the robots are trying to make the pitch, and they're trying to get better control of themselves. This robot looks different from the ones that we just saw.
松手的那一刻，还是比较考验整个的用控的。
没错。
So it seems to be an easy event, but it's quite challenging for the engineers and for the robots as well. Right now, we are seeing the final of the standing long jump. This is player number 5, player number 15, which is a very promising player. We see that players in this event have different structures and appearance. In the future, the application of robotic technology will be more targeted. There are some robots that is suitable for long jump, for high jump, and for track and field events, for running. Wow, that is a beautiful move. The aerial time for the robot is so impressive. And if we look at the posture and the configuration, the structure of the robot, we see that it boasts long legs, but its structure is actually quite simplified. All of the unnecessary parts have been removed. We see the motors on its hip and on its knees. We also see this powertrain system on its feet as well.
这个让我觉得第一反应，我感觉它很像人类的跟腱，在跳跃的时候会起到非常重要的一个作用。
它应该就是按照人类跟腱的设计，这样会提高它的整个的运控的水平。
We see that the stick connecting the knee motors with the one at its heel is very similar to the tendon of a human.
人类的田径比赛是完全一样的，是有效就是白旗，无效的成绩的话就是红旗，也是非常方便咱们在转播当中去观察和判断。
The standing long jump is more difficult than the high jump. It has to look for X, Y, Z axis. So for high jump, you can only look at the vertical axis, but for long jump, you need to look at all 3 axes.
从平面几何变成立体几何的一个状态。
是，所以你看，同一个队，同一个赛手，会差1米远。他第一跳是3米多，这跳更远。
他落地之后，这个稳定性还是非常可观的。
是的。
It is very stable the minute it touches the ground after the jump, which is a big challenge for the robots. Because the speed for the jump is very high. It looks almost like a motion capture robot. Its postures are quite similar with that of humans. And that's also the essence of a humanoid robot, as the name suggests. The first step is to learn from humans, is to mimic humans, and in the future they will, of course, surpass humans' physique extremes. And they could be used by the humans.
比如说科技队的这个自由搏击运动员刚才没有站住，但是他自己现在自主起身。蓝方是华北电力大学。
我们看这应该是决赛了。对，决赛的2个这个队伍，应该是2个选手并不保守， 一上来并不保守，而是更多的是采取了进攻。
对，因为上来之后都是主动进攻。
我们看到经常差一点被自己绊倒。
This is the boxing field as well. At the ring, we see two players that are now competing for the gold medal, as is the final. We see that these two robots are, of course, the representatives of the top level of technologies. We see that the finalists boast a very high level of stableness and steadiness.
小的那个招式呢，可能反应速度更快，这就看我们每一个操控手在操作过程中使用什么样的一个技能和战略。
这确实是，对，今天决赛上来之后。
And we see that the two robots are competing in a very proactive manner. They're very aggressive, and neither of them take a defensive posture in terms of their tactics and strategy. They are very aggressive, and they don't hesitate to make the attack when they see an opportunity. So it is actually a very nice event to watch. We see that the engineer are trying to cool the robots down by spraying with this mist, spraying them with the mist.
没有踢空的时候，有时候也会把自己绊倒。但是现在的机器人的这个自我平衡性还是比较强的。
这个先踢和后踢真的还不一样，尤其是对腿部的一些动作。
是。
This is the second round.
因为我们的自由搏击人形机器人，他们这个参赛的过程当中，他们的这个公斤级是不同的，有40公斤级
，in the
58公斤级。是不是这个
boxing event, we see that there are different classes. For example, the one that we're watching is the 40 kilometers class.
可能在平衡性上，在一些其他的一些动作上。
Of course, the higher the body weight for the robots, the more difficult it is for them to remain stable and make this intricate move. For the lightweight classes, one successful kick will help them to get 3 points. And in kickboxing, we see that the robots some of them can quickly get up within almost 1 second. But in real-time application, probably the robots will not be programmed to get up in an instant, because they have to consider safety, and also they have to be programmed to make sure that they do not harm the judge or the engineer.
好，我们看白队这腿部动作真的是上的非常的频繁，而且效果相当不错。
轻量级基本上我们看。
For the lightweight class, we see that the robots rarely use their fist to make the attack, and they will resort to leg work much more frequently. because they are more agile and they could secure more points by the kicks. One effective kick, one successful kick can help them to secure 3 points, as I mentioned. We could see that the 2 players are from Unitary, and the player from the other side is from the North China Electric the university, Polytech University. So a lot of university students and graduate students are part of the program. This is, of course, a very promising field in the future. I heard that there are even a lot of middle school students that are now participating in the robotic technology development. So this is the next round. I think the robots look quite similar because they are designed according to the unified standard of the organizer. But of course, the technology behind them are different. The third round is about to conclude. And right now, the robots are trying to make full use of the last seconds to secure more points. I think the robot from the North China Electric Power University is also doing very well in terms of getting up after falling. As I mentioned, because we are now watching the final, these are the top-notch representative of robotic technologies, so we can see that they are doing amazingly well. Okay, this is an announcement of the final results. All right. The winner is the robot from North China Electric Power University. Congratulations. This is the match for the 3 versus 3 football match. We can see the score right now is 1-0. So clearly this is a close match. There are only 3 players on each side. So whenever they are attacking or defending, all of the robots must participate on the match. You see that the robot is now shaking its head from the look of it, but actually it is a process for the robot to collect information from its sensors it is making full use of its vision so as to take the final decision.
另外一个队员觉得我应该去发，他就跑过去了。
这和人类足球比赛其实也挺像的啊，上去帮队友忙。
是。有的时候机器人自主决策的过程中也有很多偶然的事件。
您看这个1号，他是不是肩膀的这个零件掉了？
是的，是的。可能这个在这个赛队可能没看到，所以还是没有叫暂停。同时我们也看到，这个肩膀掉下来，这还是正常运转。这个红队也是够坚韧的。
哎，对。
We see that the
之前呢，曾经在世界杯上出现过贝肯鲍尔肩部脱臼的情况。
The robots knows no fatigue, and they will not get hurt from the injuries, so they could continue competing after simple adjustment, even if it's get hit on the parts. Because it can sense no pain.
这球是直接趟出底线了。蓝队失误 ，NK 队刚才是有机会直接攻门，
可能在带球过程中一下带过了。
The blue team has just missed a perfect opportunity to make the shot.
发现他这个肩膀的情况。
是，紧急可以更换机器人。
But we saw at this moment, one of the robots got injured and malfunctioned, so they need to make some adjustment. If it cannot recover, probably they will must send a substitute on the court. Now 2 players are down from the red team, so there's only one red player on the ground, on the court.
他的这个防守压力也是很大的。像您说的全攻全守，一个守门员，然后2个队员基本都在场上。哎，红方现在上来一个。
All right, we can see that a player in the red shirt has just come back to the field, and another blue player is down, apparently. Of course, football itself is a highly competitive sport with a lot of physical clashes between the players, so it's very easy for the players to get hurt in the real world or in the robotic world. Wow, that's a goal. But this doesn't seem to be a successful goal because the point does not change the performance. For the team to score, the entire ball has to pass the goal line. And we don't know if there's any penalties made or some foul that have been made. Anyway, so the score does not change.
3对3的足球比赛是采用国际足联规则下标准的3号球。
As I mentioned, there's only one player wearing red shirt is on the field, so it's a 1 against 3. So let's cheer for this single player on the field.
你看红队他是寻找对手，
对，到对手的。
All right, the red player is trying to make the shot, to take the shot.
力量小
Well,
一些。
小一些。
it is not a successful shot.
我们看蓝队的编程还是很好的，他在己方的防守的过程中，基本上就是站在自己就站在球与对方球门的身后，去挡住球。
Right now, the blue team has a shot.
几乎是空门了。
All right, the defender from the red team is trying to block the shot, and successfully.
这个防守还是非常及时，
防守非常及时。
但是有一个附带动作，就是把这个蓝方给带倒了，但应该没有判罚犯规的情况。
是的。
So in a process of defense, we saw the defender from the blue team accelerate his pace before trying to block the shot, which is also quite similar to the strategy that are taken by human players.
这球没出底线，那这就是刚才梁老师所说的防守和进攻。
So for attack and defend, they will have different programs that are written into the CPU of the robots. On the right-hand side, on the small screen, we could see the athletes trying to put on a kung fu performance. On the left-hand side, we just saw the player from the blue team just score. That it should be a successful score, as we see that right now the blue team is leading 2-1.
这边自选拳术决赛啊，就是我们看的是这个流畅的动作，而且他之前因为模仿人类的动作已经深入他的电机，所以让我们看的也是非常的过瘾。
是，而且这个拳术的动作应该是已经有几分人类的神韵了。
On the right-hand side, we could see the performer doing the martial art. You could see that its moves are so elegant and fluent, and it's just a pleasure to look at. It almost looks like a martial art master. And of course, this set of moves must be done within this field. So they are programmed this way. So on the two screens, we could see on the left-hand side is the football match. On the right-hand side would be the martial art. Now we are back at the football court. We could see that the blue team is right now leading 2-1 against the red team. But we could see that there are only 3 players altogether on the field. The other players are lying on the ground because possibly they got injured. Of course, we know that football is quite an intensive sport.
我们看蓝队，他有个战术，就是似乎有一个蓝队的运动员一直在自己球门前。我们看蓝队又上来一名球员，现在是3名球员。带球2次以后就可以射门。
Right now, the blue team is trying to take the shot, but there are 2 defenders to block him from doing so. It tries to make the pass, and successfully. So 3-1. The blue team almost secured the victory. So in the future, we might see more agile movements from the football robotic players.
实际上，大家会看到机器人现在稍微略有点这个迟钝，
I think it might seem to the robots might seem a bit slow in their moves, but they are learning from the best human players. As I said yesterday, they for each of the designers and developers, they would learn from the best of the best football players such as Carlos or Cristiano Ronaldo. So in the future, for one football player, it might have the different qualities of the brightest football stars in the history of human race. As we speak, the blue team just secured another goal. Right now, it's leading 4-1.
这个半场的进球出现呢，也让比分来到了4-1，蓝方现在是大比分领先，而且在
Now the first half has finished. So that's the live broadcast of this live coverage of the daytime competition for the games, and it will continue in the sports channel. Thank you, Mr. Liang, for the commentary. We'll see you next time.
再见。
锅板，快点！加油！在家吃饭就找锅圈。
怕蔗糖喝碱醇，餐后喝碱醇，休闲喝碱醇，运动喝碱醇，怕蔗糖喝碱醇。
新一代方便面、拉面饭。拉面饭，零油炸。
第一，我们的机器人本身的设计就是一个高密度，然后它变得比较小，它实际上这也限制了它能量的一个，就相当于我们是在集中住在一个盒子里，然后它本身的散热可能就是一个挑战。那再有一个呢，它可能采用的材料目前很多都是很好的一个金属材料，那金属材料的散热性是会比较好，所以整个的一个设计，我觉得都是考虑到了这些我们的能量和散热之间的一个平衡。 当中正在进行比赛的是位于我们场馆南侧足球场正在进行的呢是足球5对5的季军争夺赛，对阵双方呢分别是 YY Amsterdam 和 Beijing。接下来我们也来通过一则规则短片来了解一下5人制的足球有什么样的特殊之处吧。欢迎观看机器人足球5v5赛场，赛场铺设绿色人造小皮22米乘14米5人制球门，上下半场各15分钟，中场5分钟，机器人每队5台上场，最多2台替补。前4组0秒后，大型组高小于等于1.9米，中型组小于等于1.25米。参赛机器人身体质量指数在5到30之间，每队一次赛1斤米，单场最多3次换人，标准5号球，身体共同线得1分。开球。 取得好的成绩，实际上他们背后的这个教练员就要付出特别多的辛劳和努力。像我们今天看到的这个身着绿色球衣的这个守门员啊，在刚才这个阶段当中是频频建功，连续的挡住了对方的3次这个飞球进攻。下半场还有8分半的时间。今年实际上我们3对3共有6个场地，然后裁判是自然不打。人员上的数量差别给这个足球场上的战术带来了更多的不利。对。
女士们、先生们，第2届世界人形机器人运动会足球3v3 U19中型机器人组颁奖仪式现在开始。
Ladies and gentlemen, the victory ceremony for soccer's 3v3 under 19 media robo group of the World Humanoid Robot Games 2026 now begins.
为金牌运动员颁奖的是
The presenter for the gold medalists is
北京机器人融资租赁有限公司总经理
General Manager of Beijing Robot Financial Leasing Company Limited.
高展。为银牌运动员颁
包括我们的急停、急转、变向带球等等这些，实际上是我们是如何实现的，主要有3个技术特点。第一个呢，就是我们碰撞、抗扰动的一个平衡，就是在整个的碰撞过程中间，我们有了扰动，但是它还能快速的保持平衡。第二个能力呢，就是我们整个在过程中间实际上没有办法去预设它的位置，所以我们是一个非结构化的一个过程。所以在这种非结构化的过程中间，我们如何动态的实现我们步态，包括小碎步的调整啊，或者说是我们这个变向啊、侧身啊、后撤啊等等这些，我们如何动态调整。第3个呢，就是我们逐步的一个精准的控球。相比于去年，我们昨天也提到了，我们之前可能就是大脚板
队友，现在能够进入决赛，说明这2支队伍的场上的这些竞争的球商都是挺高的。又是叫传球，叫射门，好球！站位很刚好站在防守队员没有覆盖到的地方，然后门前有一个缝隙，几乎也是唯一的一个。
This is the only angle where the robot can shoot. We can also see that the passing is also quite important. They are using the inner part of their foot to pass the football. There is no extra move of the humanoid robot. In another round, we want to encourage HTWK robots. Passing from side kick. It's difficult for them to get the ball through their personal ability. It is the speeding time. Very good position. You're going to see that the number 3 has a very, very good control of the ball. Left foot. The positioning is also very important, standing at the right position and kicking within one shoot. So because at the right moment, there are some of the angles. And you can also see that for the robots, they don't have a preferred foot, unlike the professional football player. It's very difficult. We are always going to see the robots using the internal side of their foots to kick the balls. This is very impressive kick. There's another kick. So they also have their own idea about how to kick and how to shoot. There is no single waste of its movement. And they are still waiting for a few seconds after the football is positioned. And they also have a very good control of the distance between the football and the gate. And for those of the teams who have entered into the finals, they have been prepared quite well. And in their trainings, they also have a lot of on-site experiences. Within 5 minutes of the first round, we are going to see a 5-0. The blue team, or Team Blue, needs to adjust their strategies, but all of their strategies needs to be adjusted by the robot themselves on the sides. They also have another different shootings, and we need to think about what is going to be their next round of the movement. So here I found that for the footballs between the robots, there's a very consequence displays of side kicking. My understanding is that some of the robots has a better control of their foot and legs, so that's the reason why it's also causing a better results. As I've been telling you, the football is a teamwork. For those of the robots who has a better control of their legs, the result is definitely going to be better. This is actually better than 7-1. But with the finals, the 2 teams on the sides is going to be making the decisions with their strides. If any of them is going to make the decisions footsteps is not going to be affecting the results. Actually, from the team below, they have allocated a lot of strategies in their backfield. Their choices of the positioning is not quite good. Even if the red team doesn't have a lot of preparations and in their back defense, we can also see that they lose a lot of kicks. For these kicks, they are trying to find their friends, but they didn't. Some of the robots on the playfield, they are just wandering. So with 1 robots left, they are changing their gatekeepers. Number 1 robot is no longer their gatekeepers. The team below needs to reposition themselves. So they have their coach team, and their coach team needs to be working on the strides. They need to making the decisions by themselves, standing up immediately. Okay, finally the gatekeeper is standing at the right position. All about it is about the positioning. Currently, all of the robots at the sides, just as number 3 cannot get the balls, it's very difficult for the robots to rise up. Okay, quite good. So we are causing for the pause. Very impressive. With the gatekeeper not being in position. So right now the ball has been kicked into the position number 2. With the number 5 players on the team, this is a very penetrating shooting. This has been shooting to the number 6 position. Although they have been pausing for a very short period of time, but they have figured out a very good angle for them to shoot it in. You can see the team reds. The gatekeeper of the team red has been always standing alone in front of their gates. Is it possible for the team blue to creating some of the tensions? This is the tensions, the passing of, and they are choosing for a distant angle. They also have the possibilities. There's no angles. A very small. So this is not the correct angles. So this is not the right time. So with the 3 football players, okay, this is their first shoots. We can also see that the team blue like to be working in a team. They like to attack within a team and also defend in a team. For this type of the play, this is a very aggressive strategy of playing. But right now, they are lagging behind. They need to be working with more robots. So with more robots standing at the gateway, it's easier for them to finally get a point. Some of the robots are shaking. Shaking their hands. They need to be working harder. Team Red has always been at the forefront. They have also kept their backfield fully packed. But with passing the balls in terms, this is very good. And this is another angle that they have been choosing. They used to be choosing the bottom right angle. Right now they are moving toward the bottom left angle. A nice shot. The gatekeeper is also been standing at a very good position. Actually, for the robots, they don't have losses of their energy. But for the team, it's different rounds, the different modules and consumptions, I believe that they are jogging for more. And we believe that the Team Blues has always been saving their energy. If this game continues, it's possible for the Team Blue to keep their battery on. They have been turning themselves a lot, making the burdens, creating the extra burdens for their joints. They have a higher requirement for the robot themselves. There are some of the problems occurred here. The Team Red can control the rhythms of the field. Number 3, they didn't see the football. This is like a one-on-one. They need to be figuring out the football's position. And we also believe that they are moving faster. There should be no extra movements. Finding the right position should also be quite important. For passing, for shooting, the gatekeeper should always be working. There's too many of them working in this gate. Number 2 is actually getting the ball. Impressive. And the number 2 robot has been working in a very unique position. The number 2 has got all the shoots. And to fulfill their shooting, I can feel that the engineers from the Team Blue, they don't have anything to deal with it. For those of the two teams enters into the final, they have lots of understandings of the rule of the games, and they've been encountering each other many times in other different competitions. And the team robots, with the red robots and blue robots, they need to be understanding what is happening. So, is it possible for the Team Blue to be playing in the defense side? As we have just told each other, with the Team Red kicking faster, the Team Blue has no time to respond. And with a very good positioning, there's going to be a very good shooting. So we can see the strategies for the Team Red is that they find the right angle to kick. With the Team Red kicking, and also they need coordinating between each other. There are changes in the way they attack each other. The Team Red wants to make some of these breakthroughs, but impressive for Team Blue. This is a very powerful kick. And I also believe the Team Blue robots can use their own body to make the shoots. You can also see the powers that they injected in themselves, the angles it has chosen carefully. So we need Team Red to grab this opportunity. Team Red needs to take a break. As well as the number 4 from Team Blue. We are going to wrap up the first half of this football play. The Team Red doesn't put through a lot of effort. So that wraps up the first session. The result has been very tilted, while the Team Blue has been very important. So Director He Yue, what is your takeaway of the finals of the first half? This is the international football play. I've been watching this kind of football play for the humanoid robots for many times, but I can feel the strategies, the angles they found to shoot, and also the decision-making procedures is world class. The passing of the balls, the shooting, the different positionings is the top tier world class. The Team Red, they have two impressive things. The first one is about the shooting that they created. In the previous games, it's like they are passing the ball for 3 rounds, while recently they have been passing it with their consistency. And currently, between the players, they have the communications. For one player, they know where the position is, and they are passing the information to each one others of the team members. So this is they have been built internal communicative systems, enabling the players at the back side to find the football. They are actually passing the first ball, and they with the These are some of the exciting shoots from the first session. And for the Team Blue, while they are searching for the balls, they have some of the extra movements, causing them the extra times. So while you have been controlling the balls, you have been thinking for a few extra seconds. That's the reason why the Team Blue is lagging behind in the first halves. For kicking the balls, it is just like the decision-making procedures with the footballs. A second behind means the loss of another ball. We believe the Team Blue is quite mature in terms of their movements, but they are a little bit lagging behind with the Team Reds. That's the reason why they have not been successful. And during the training sessions, there is not a very huge differences between a strong team and a big team. The differences is lying at the high speed clearance. Number 3 robots, very strong personal characters. With the number 4, they are not tracing it back. They need to be looking at the final rounds. We are actually moving into another games, which is coming from the combined penicillins. So this is actually the Tiangong 3.0 robots. And they are approaching to have more drones. And Tiangong Ultra can have done the long jump, high jump, 400 meter, and for the Tiangong 3.0, they can do more movements. Right now, we are demonstrating its stability and the decision-making procedure. We used to be talking about Tiangong Omi. The birth of it is usually in some of the obstacle racing. And the moving into the futures, while they entered into some of these very limited spaces, how will the robots making the decisions? Is because they need to be saving the humans in the firefighting places. The humans might not be understanding where they are. They need to be making the decisions by themselves. So this is what we call the 5-point jogging. It looks like that they have been jogging very shyly. The round 2 is a very difficult part. We can see that the robots before didn't finish it properly. Let's look at how is the latest case for Tiangong 3.0. Pouring the water into the cup. Currently, there's no single drop wasted. And they need to be carrying the cup to the next point. Okay, this is a very stable grab. This is what we call the Tiangong 3.0. What is its height? In my impression, it is going to be over 1.8 meter. I've been met it personally. I think it's around 180 centimeter, a very stable work. Although it doesn't have a very strong demonstrations as the Tiangong Ultra. And the powers it held, as well as the positions, is also quite good. Let's look at can it be positioning quite good and pulling it back. There is no problem with it. Didn't drop. It didn't waste a single drop of the water. Let's move next. There are 4 bottom water where the robots needs to be carry the full bottom of the water and place it into the designated basket. And once it has fulfilled this session, they need to be carrying the basket into the designated position. Currently, it is making and it's actually clicking to the bottom. So it takes a different way to grab a lying bottom of the water. Different position. Grabbing the later part of the robots, lowering an extra. So now we need to be carrying the weight down. For one part, we need to looking at its flexibilities of the robot hand. Another part is that we need to test it about it needs to be lifted with its left hand while grabbing it together with its right hand. It just moves like the human hands. It needs to have a coordination between the different parts of their robot's body. They're using their ears to be making the sensitivities. There is no problem with it. This is also demonstrating the grip powers of the robots. It might be falling down. The sensors very stable. They are trying to positioning the designated position, and they need to be found after passing the deadline. They need to be working until the point number 67. So you are going to see that for the Tiangong robots, it is very stable. And we've been talking that for the Tiangong Ultra, they've been jogging very fast. You are going to see that the robot is moving with the human movements. So this is the mission number 4, moving the cart alongside the designated lines or the designated trajectories. You are going to see that it has been powered on. They need the 2 hands to be carrying the heavy lines, while they need to be following the wide trajectories. There's also a higher possibility that it is using its vision capacities to figure out the reason that the target is actually this mission is the final mission, where the robots need to be placing the 4 bottles of the water at the 4 designated area. After grabbing that, the robots need to be switching their figures and also opening it. Impressive. It proves once again that there is no spell over, and the final party is jogging to the final point. And for the 3.0, they don't need to be rushing to the end. Very smooth and impressive results, while the number 3.0 is simulating the human jogging positioning or jogging gesture. It takes 15 minutes for them to fulfill all the movements. So the 3.0 robots resettles all of your anxieties. While they are placing the robots, they have their own goods. The reason for them to pick it up and putting it down means that they need to be understanding the positioning, because moving into the future, the robot is going to be grabbing us and preparing for the results. They need to be understanding the positionings. For the robots, this is a very comprehensive requirement. The golden cup. This is the golden cup for the football game. A world-class team, with the whole teams desperate for the final winning cups. This is the World Cup for the humanoid robots. Those are the team which ranks is going to become the top level players. And for the team who can get the best playing, and they are actually fighting for the human and the recognitions, the robots, the usage of their technologies needs some of the extra improvements. But that's a very heavy cake. The demonstrations of their powers, no missed powers, and there's more and more robots clustering at one point. This is a very crowded angle. For the number 2 robots, it's more like using one of the football players to kick all the footballs in the game. In the second round, does the team blue readjust its strategy? If they are not doing a very good job in terms of passing, they are going to be causing the kills. Right now, it is relying on their personal ability to be working on it. The 2 team members are actually passing the balls. And you are also going to see the... So this is actually the full... the robot is not been standing very stably while the ball has been passing between each other. I would say that for this kind of repetitive result is a miscommunication between the team members. The turning it around, accelerating, and passing it into the front players. The 2 humanoid robots has also been crashing on each other. We are also going to see there are some of the positionings between the robots. Number 2, the gatekeeper, as the number 4, has also been falling down. We can also see that Team Blue has readjusted their procedures. They have been following the same speed, while they are still lagging behind. The passings of the robots. The Team Red is using their bodies to stuck the ball and try their best to kick it. These are the reasonable clashing between the robots' bodies. The Team Blue, sometimes we can feel that they don't have a very clear strategy in the passings of the balls, or their differences not only lies in the powers they expressed, but also in the lines or the strategies that they are adopting. While the Team Red is adopting a very red one-to-one fighting to get it. For every time they get in touch with the balls, they spend a few seconds to look at it. Team Red is actually coming in front of the football. Impressive. Another shoot. Impressive. I think this case is much more better than those of the shoots that we have been seeing in the first session of the football game. I don't know whether they have been doing it on purpose or not. So they are going to start their kicking with the football and let the football carrying their momentum and being shotted into the gate. Three players shifting their focus from attack to defense. These are the details of their ability. Another very good shoots. The Team Red has a very impressive attacking ability. For the final, the teams entered into the final, they are quite good. There's not too much mistaken between the human referees. Just as Mr. Zhang has mentioned, there's a very good control of the players. And for this time session, and this is also posing a lot of difficulties for the gatekeepers for each side. Impressive. And also for the attacking abilities, I believe that those of the players has played a very important role, and they don't have a lot of pressures. And there's not too much threats. And another single shots of a higher precision. The football is also quite like it. The body's position where they have received the kick. And for the previous kick, we believe that this is the most reasonable way of practicing. The players keep their attacking momentum, and they didn't fight it back. There's nothing strategically that they changed so far. The shifting of their heads is where the robots trying to identify the football. Back to the triangular area. Shoots. They are still trying to making the movements. So because of the time limits, they do need a very huge kick. It's very difficult for the players to be generating the back shooting. They are calling this passing. There is another 4-point That is to say, I believe the way of doing it is more like the Spanish teams playing in the World Cup. We are also going to see that all the while the two balls has been moving inside, the gatekeeper has also been keep a very good look. Indeed, facing such a strong opponents, there is a huge pressure in the waiting line. While for other team members, they have been gathering quite dramatically. Although they are waiting for a quite long time, there's nothing that they cannot waste it. They are actually moving toward the final part of today's game. 4 different team members need to be controlling at the ball, and for each one side, they need to be talking with each other. They are cracking on the players or their rivals in order to get a position. For one robot, they are actually working with 4 of the robots. Very good passing, but they didn't position their ball quite good. The team players stopping the other defense teammates to get the balls. So you can also see that they have been sitting on the column. I've been also personally sitting. Is it possible for me to build a gymnasiums while using some of the robots to play me football at my home? You can also see these robots are shifting to the right side. They know how to switch it back and controlling the time. We need the time with the residents about how could we better controlling the teams. We need to be fighting harder on behalf of the team blue because they are really working quite hard. This is the attack and also the defense. Let's look at what is going to be the play for team blue. The team blue is moving forward with the equal speed. Is it possible for the team red working at the forefront? They are playing the fires. This is a very good opportunity with one single kick. Another kick. Impressive. The challenge to the gatekeeper has been wrapped up. So with the negligence of the gatekeepers, the team blue finally have another point. We still have time, witnessing more attacks. The team blue, in their preparations of finals, they also need to be adopting a simpler method. While it is the food spots for the right side, with the opportunities, with the one single kick, actually, for the team number 5, it has a very important time window. So the team member number 5 he is missing a very important opportunity for them, because for the Team Blue, they have a very strong defense. And we didn't see a lot of passing. Impressive. The catching and passing of the balls, always demonstrating the ability of the robots. Look at here, with a very simple smash. Within 70 degrees centigrade, the ball has been flying on top of the left leg of the gatekeeper. With 2 minutes to go, the humanoid robots is being decided by the decision-making capacities, the combinations of the power and speed. So this is demonstrating the coordination ability with the different members of the team. Definitely what we are seeing from this time's play, the Team Red has a better coordination. Sometimes we are hoping the Team Blue could have some of the advantages, but for the Team Red, they are actually moving it with a very good positioning. So that is to say, in terms of their way to do it, there's still 1 minute to go. We are going to see are there any changes to the final point. Are they going to generating their best result? Because Team Red has already been prepared for the final wrap-up. It's possible for the Team Blue to get another point within the final seconds. The two teams are fighting on the control of the football. According to the rules, this is a very important passing with no seconds to left. That wraps up today's game with 3 blowing of the whistles from the referees. Team Red get the golden cup of the humanoid robots competition for the football. A very impressive result. As we are joking, they are adopting a really human strategies to be playing their footballs. They are demonstrating the coordinations between the different teams. The two teams are after the games. They are going to have some of the coordinations and some of the competitions. So Be Human has outperformed the HWKT